wrong. We had the videotapes from the store. Something needed to be done about that. And ask yourself why we didn't see that many protests there in that area. There's a few people that are protesting it. One of the major protests, they've had the student organization protesting that there outside of Dayton, Ohio. The second group that was there was Open Carry. And I saw a video of that. And almost all the people in that Open Carry rally were white people because they understood that if they could get shot down merely having a gun in their hands. The police feel justified because they don't get indicted shooting a man in a Walmart with a BB gun in his hand. They can shoot these guys who have a real gun, and it's an open carry state. They can shoot them down in the street if they feel like it. All they have to say is, I felt like I was threatened. Let me have your comment on that.
Right. And you never, it seems like it is selective as far as which one they choose, but yes, at the same time, it's the incident itself which causes the outrage. And one has to be chosen. I mean, it doesn't matter to me which one because they're all bad. So, I mean, I don't feel like it's a selective process as far as what they pick and choose, which ones to talk about and protest about, or Al Sharpton gets up and makes a big deal about, because there's so many instances that it has to start somewhere.
Well, so yeah, but let's go back to the Walmart. Okay, you had a white officer who killed this black man in the store who was not doing anything whatsoever, and they go through and they have an indictment. I mean, we didn't see the national mainstream media really talking about this much. You didn't see Eric Holder there. You didn't see Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson there. They could have made the same case that he was shot down because he was black and it was a white officer. They didn't do it. They picked the case where there was going to be some ambiguity. They waited a long time to talk about the exculpatory evidence about Darren Wilson. They waited a long time to start dribbling that out. Then they had, for several months, they had a secretive trial, and then they release all of it after dark at the precise time they know people want to riot. This thing is this was engineered to create race riots from the very beginning, I believe. It was not there to really talk about the real problems of racism or to talk about the real problems of excessive use of police force.
The whole thing, it looks very corrupt, and I mean, you could just feel it happening. And I said, when I was watching it on TV, I said, you know what, Satan won tonight, because when you look, all you see is the images of anarchy and fire.
Yes.
And it looked as if it was basically, it was Satan having his way and showing the world that no matter how much you may want justice or what you think is right, no matter what side you're on, tonight is all about anarchy.
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of those, I don't like how it's the two-sided media where you got Fox News who automatically will promote, George Zimmerman or Darren Wilson, and you have MSNBC who will automatically get on the side of the Mike Browns, and it separates people just having those two stations battling each day.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, if you feel like getting enraged,
it's the left-right paradigm. It's the left-right. They give you two choices, both of which are controlled from the top. And they have those two forces pick an issue and fight against each other, so you can pick one side or the other. They're not going to talk about the real substantive third issue, which is excessive police violence. They're going to, if they talk about it at all, they'll talk about it in the context of racism and racism alone. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Let's go to, I want to try to get everybody a chance here. Zachary in Florida. Zachary, go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, I was calling about the Ferguson riots. I think they're actually kind of justified due to the fact that everybody is so angry. Everybody is so fed up at how the government has been treating us. And in our Constitution, it says we are allowed to dismantle our government if it's not working, which it's not. But if we try to dismantle it, we're automatically branded as terrorists or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Let me kick in there with a different example. Okay, now, as one of the callers was talking about earlier in our live coverage, we had Joe Biggs there last night. We had there was a man. He was yelling at the top of his lungs obscenities at the cops, and he had a gun on his side, but he was not pointing the gun at them. He did not shoot first. He was telling them, if you shoot, we're going to shoot back. Let me compare this to the Bundy Ranch. Because of the Bundy Ranch, they had a clear objective. They did not wait a long time to let the government get ahead of this thing. And they made it clear that they were willing to take a bullet, if necessary, to get what they wanted. And what they wanted was for the police to stand down. They were sick and tired of seeing their neighbors brutalized over a period of a couple of weeks. And so you had ranchers come together in defense of that. They had an objective where they could get the cattle back. But it was really about standing up to the police and saying, you're not going to do this to us. I saw a clip of one of the older cowboys who had come over from Arizona, he considered himself to be a neighbor because the distances there are so great. But he said, you're not going to taser a man on a horse. We saw you taser women, take them down from behind, but you're not going to taser a man on a 1,000-pound animal. You're going to have to shoot him off. You're going to have to shoot me off of this horse. We're not going to stand for this anymore. That's what people need to do. They need to stand up. They need to do it peacefully. They need to have leaders who are going to stand up and put a legitimate face on this. And that's why we need to work with our people at the local level, at the state level, to stand up to this federal tyranny, because that's where these rules of engagement are coming from. It's not that Eric Holder is going to do anything to stop this. They're the ones who are feeding this kind of rules of engagement. It's coming from Washington, militarizing the police. We'll be right back. Take some more of your calls in the next segment. Stay with us.
InfoWarsLife.com. Check it out today. I have set out to bring you the most hardcore, cutting-edge supplements and nutraceuticals, bar none. And that's what you'll find at InfoWarsLife.com. We have rejected literally hundreds of products from the InfoWars Life line because they are not of the very highest quality, or because they're not 100% organic, or because they don't pass all of the strictest toxicology tests there are that we have listed at InfoWarsLife.com. Whether it's Survival Shield Nascent Iodine or DNA Force, Super Male Vitality, Super Female Vitality, Lung Cleanse, Fluoride Shield, Oxy Powder. I believe that all of these products will blow you away like they've done the thousands of other customers that have visited InfoWarsLife.com and believed in us and tried the products. Folks, check out InfoWarsLife.com today and the entire line of groundbreaking, cutting-edge, hardcore products.
We all have our own idea about what being safe and secure means. The door's locked, bills are paid, you've got a job that keeps the lights on, and a home to call your own. But what happens when Mother Nature throws a curveball?
I'm telling you to take cover.
Are you prepared to live without electricity or passable roads for weeks at a time? Do you even have a plan B? If you do, are you willing to bet your life on it?
Children left with no homes.
And no one's coming to help them.
The first step towards self-reliance in the face of disaster is a visit to MyPatriotSupply.com. There you'll find the absolute best prices on storable foods, non-GMO seeds, emergency water filtration devices, and so much more. All orders over $49 qualify for free shipping in the lower 48 states. Call 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. And speak to one of our preparedness advisors today, or visit us at MyPatriotSupply.com. Remember, before it's time to survive, it's time to prepare.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight. We've been in overdrive for nearly an hour trying to take people's calls on this Ferguson issue. Let's go quickly so we can go through everybody, as many people as we can here. Let's go to Matt in Louisiana. Matt? Hello, Matt. Are you there?
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead. You got to go quickly.
Yeah,
my issue on Ferguson, the whole thing seemed really strange. From, the time they started it, the random bullets, I didn't hear about any victims, the times of the fires, it all seemed kind of fake and, like set up.
Yeah, I believe so, too. I think that they've done everything that they can from the very beginning to exacerbate this in terms of the timing of when they released evidence that would have shown that the officer acted at least in some degree to self-defense, if not totally. They took a very long time to do that. And, of course, the timing in which they released this was just the icing on the cake to do this at 8 o'clock. Just amazing to me. Did you have any other comment?
Yeah, you said about the guy in Walmart. The reason why I think, they don't blow up about, that like they did to Ferguson is because, the protesters and, all the random looting and the violence actually makes the police look in a way better.
Yes.
For this whole situation. And if they would bring it up on, like, the case in Walmart, of course, there's no way that would make us look bad because,
Absolutely. We have to be smart about how we pick our battles, and we have to be smart about how we fight our battles. And to do this, they are basically fighting on their terms, and that is making the police look as if it's necessary to have full-on militarization, that they're the only thing standing between you and race riots when they have fomented these race riots, in my opinion, from the very beginning and the way they released this. Thank you, Matt. Let's move on quickly. Truth Raider in Oregon, you said you had 3 words to describe this. I'm going to give you your shot. Go ahead, 3 words.
David,
hey.
Have you ever heard of Mae Brussell? A legendary broadcaster back in the early 1970s through the 1980s?
No, not familiar with him.
She describes it very best. You can go online on YouTube and type in Mae Brussell broadcast, and she was legendary. She was one of those that broadcasted all this material a long time ago. 3 words that she coined: divide and conquer.
Yes, yeah, that's right. That's right. It's about creating a dichotomy here. You've got, you've got a thesis and an antithesis, right? That's what they have always done. That's what the Democrats and the Republicans are about. That's why they only want to give us 2 parties. So everything has to be broken into these phony 2 choices, and that's what they're doing right now. They're portraying this as a race war. And, of course, you need bigger, stronger, more militarized police departments to protect you from this race war. Thank you, Truth Raider. Let's quickly move on to Josh in Virginia. Josh.
Hey, Mr. Knight, it's an honor to speak with you. I'm an admirer of your work.
Well, thank you.
Just wanted to, I know we don't have much time, but I wanted to briefly touch on the protests going on around the country that seem to have been censored so far today.
Yes.
We were watching live stream New York City. They took over the Triborough Bridge, and it was citizen journalists right there on the front line where we were able to watch this, just enthralled all night. And then, the next day my wife has family in New York. They knew nothing about it. They weren't reporting on it. There were scenes in Oakland of the protesters and the cops literally pushing against one another, a very volatile situation. So part of this DHS exercise, I believe, is media control once again, because the paper tiger is starting to be revealed like the previous caller was saying, people almost just need a reason now. They're so fed up. And a trigger event could happen, maybe not now because, again, this was all state managed, it looks like, from the get-go. But if something really were to happen and people were to take to the streets, the power really does lie with the people, and you were able to see it only through the social media.
That's true. That's true. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, there are some links up on Drudge about protests that are going on in other parts of the country, and, of course, there was a grievous shooting this weekend in New York. Now, that's it for today, but join us tonight. We're going to have the Nightly News live at 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. More reports from Ferguson and our reporters who are there. Join us then.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
In the near future.
You realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Alert. Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. InfoWars building independent media operation.
We let the worst people get control and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime Directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
A popular conspiracy theory talk show called InfoWars.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail.
These people are assaulting us.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at Infowars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. Imperative. Destroy Prison Planet TV.
You gotta set your eye on the enemy, not worry about what propaganda they put out. Intellectually, it's begun. You can feel it.